bubblegum.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
I am here to chew bubblegum.
Really? That's it? I'm here to chew bubblegum?
It's the radio.
Okay. Well, you've been saying it for weeks, though. On the one station, I've been blurting it out.
And kick ass.
Okay. Let's do that again. Greetings.
I am here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
There you go. There you go. Welcome in, everyone, to Here to Chew Bubblegum. I am Goose. As always, Dirty Dan, he is in the bunker today. And across the table, we have a very special guest sitting in with us. I'm talking about Rebecca Short from TikTok. Rebecca, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you like Bunker Studios. Sadly, this will be the last episode that we ever record in Bunker Studios, because in a few weeks we will be in a new permanent studio location under a shopping mall.
Sweet.
So, yes.
Do they have a glass floor we can people watch?
Maybe.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and congratulations on your new studio location.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're going to start out with some listener email, and we will let Miss Rebecca go first.
So this is from Nathan98. It says, hello, here to chew bubblegum. I recently came across this quote and wanted to write in and share it with you guys and lovers of ear candy everywhere. And the quote is, remember that stress doesn't come from what's going on in your life. It comes from your thoughts about what's going on in your life. And that's by Andrew Bernstein.
Thank you very much, Nathan. And that is a very, very good quote. And if you listen to episode 39 of the podcast, some of these emails may sound familiar. We've not did emails in a few weeks, so we're going to give them the proper attention that they deserve. And we're also going to read them on the radio show, some of them.
That sounds good to me.
So, good. The next one I'll read. Mary from Tennessee says, love the show. I'm a new listener, and this is my first time writing in. I've been researching the effects of frequencies on the human body and have made this discovery that I'd like to share with you. Pay attention to whom your energy increases and decreases around. That's the universe giving you a hint on who you should stay away from or stay around. I never thought about this before, but I agree, and I get it now. You need more segments on frequencies, and thank you very much, Mary. From Tennessee, those are coming.
This one comes from Starfly, who is a avid podcast listener. Goose and Dirty Dan, greetings and salutations. First, let me say that you do a great job, and I really enjoy the show. With that in mind, please get Rebecca Short on the show again. She's unbelievable and makes a lot of sense to me with the subjects that she's talked about. Since her first appearance, I've bought 2 Awakening maps. I wish that I'd heard of Rebecca earlier in the map. Thank you for making not only me, but so many other listeners that I've gotten to know aware of her. Roswell.
Well, thank you very much, Starfly.
Luck's on your side tonight, Star.
Yes.
And here I am.
And here you are on the radio show with us. We're very, very, very glad you're here.
I would like to know what you're doing with both maps, because I am thinking about buying a second one and doing like a dart, like just chucking a dart.
Right,
and
to see
that topic. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a very good question, Starfly. What are you doing with 2 maps? Write back in and let us know.
Maybe she has it in the 2 places she spends the most time in.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Could
that's
be.
a good idea. I don't know. If we do the dart thing, I am going to need like some sort of
a barn
barrier
door
to not, puncture the rest
There
of the
you
house.
go.
A barn
There
door.
you go. Yeah, definitely. A barn door would work.
Well, your reading is better than your aim.
Thanks, Dirty Dan. I have another one here from the Traveler. Goose and Dirty Dan, hello, I am the Traveler. I am going to conduct a secret astral travel experiment. I will tell you the results in the coming months if I pull it off. Without giving too much away, I will tell you that it involves electromagnetic fields and copper, among other things.
Thank you very much. And please let us know how we're doing years from now. if you go that far. And please write back in and keep us updated.
Yeah, I'd definitely be curious about some futuristic events.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Dirty Dan, I'll let you go next if you want to, and then I'll wrap it up.
This one's a little more personal for the newcomer on the show here. From Dirty Stan. Hello, Dirty Dan, and welcome to the Here to Chew Bubblegum show. Let me say that your first radio show was fantastic. You seem like a highly intelligent man who knows what he's talking about. I'm looking forward to hearing you more on the show. Roswell, my friend, and kick butt. Dirty Stan. 1, thank you for the email. 2, nice name.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much for writing in. Let's see, I'll close it out, the email segment, with an email from Tara. Hello, everyone, and my fellow ear candy lovers. You've talked about the Aldebaran mystery on the show before. If you haven't, I highly recommend the unedited and uncut version. It has so much more information. Thank you very much, Tara, for writing in. I will definitely check that out. Also, thank everyone for writing in. You can always contact us here on the show. How can they do that, Dirty Dan?
Well, they have a couple options.
Uh-huh.
You can either call, text, or leave a voicemail at 606-373-3396. You can email Goose himself at goose@heretochewbubblegum.com, or me, Dirty Dan, the barbecue man, at dirtydan@heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also email Pup, Ned, or Elliot at heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
Yeah, and Pup was supposed to come by earlier, but I guess his shift at Firehouse Subs ran a little bit longer. I actually texted him earlier, and I have no response. But, Pup, I understand you're busy, but we miss you, buddy, and hope to have you back on soon. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Ingersoll Lockwood's website. Fascinating, keeps changing minutely, I guess.
It was changed at least once with 2 additions or twice, singularly each time, within 20 minutes, right in front of my own eyes.
And so we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Greetings.
We come in peace.
The City of Coal Run Village Mayor Andrew Scott and City Commissioners Beverly Joe Osborne, Big Joe Atkins, Trey Deskins, and Mike Steele encourage you to shop local.
With over 200 businesses, the City of Coal Run Village offers games, restaurants, gas, auto parts, cars, and much more.
You'll find all of this and more in the City of Coal Run Village. Shop local and shop often.
Are you a horror movie fan? Yeah, I dig horror movies. Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to? Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy. Then you need to tune into deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make deadpit.com your #1 horror station destination.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. If Abraham Lincoln were alive, he'd listen, but he's dead.
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Long time no talk.
Yes. Segment 1, we're going to talk about one of our favorite subjects, the IngersollLockwood.com website, which has been changing daily, minute by minute, hour by hour, and
Subliminally.
it's just very, very, very mysterious. Now, Dirty Dan's going to read something from the website, and then we'll tell you where to find it after he reads it.
How do you get to Wonderland? Over the hill or under land? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I am Ingersoll Lockwood, and I shall be your guide as we traveled through time and space. It all began and lasted for 6 weeks during a hot Philadelphia summer in 1787. Freedom for humanity and the beginning of a great awakening. But where there is good, there is always evil. One cannot exist without the other. Let us fast forward to the trigger years, moments ruled by Luciferans. The first of note was April 14th, 1865, at 10:15 p.m. in the Ford Theater in Washington, D.C., in a flicker of time and space. Our great awakening was once again halted by the most corrupt and evil of sorts. Fast forward to a moment shortly after noon on November 22nd, 1963, in Dealey Plaza in downtown Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Bushy Knoll. Down a rabbit hole we go. It's 6:05 on April 4th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee. Darkness sets in. A new world order begins to take shape. This timeline fragments into 2. A Great Awakening Struggles to Live. It is birthed on January 20th, 2017 in Washington, D.C. And yet again, the Luciferian strike. It's October 18th, 2019. Enter the Great Reset, Event 201. Will they suffocate once and for all humanity's Great Awakening? The final countdown has begun. I will be traveling forward to explore the possibilities and return to share my findings. 2030 beckons me. Vision, prophecy, actual time travel, Project Looking Glass, metaphor, futuristic precognition. While I can offer guidance, only together can the awakened effect the necessary changes to save humanity. My time invested in sharing my knowledge of my timeline with Franklin Patrick Herbert Jr., Steve Samuels, and many other keepers of the flame must not go to waste. It's time, your time. So much to do, so little time. Time is the fire in which we burn. We are running out of time. The fate of humanity rests in the hands of the awakened. The sleeper must awaken.
And that is from IngersollLockwood.com. Now, to access that, you cannot access that from the main website. What you have to do is go to IngersollLockwood.com/QA. You go to the bottom, and after the word awaken, there is a red period. You click on that, and that takes you to what Dirty Dan just read. Now, this website is very, very mysterious. It's changing daily, like Dirty Dan had said. And when we talked about this on the radio show a few weeks ago, the letters NCSWIC, we were talking about how that stood for a government organization. We've learned since then that's not the case. NCSWIC stands for Nothing Can Stop What Is Coming. And this website, if you go to this and you see any white space on any of the pages, copy that with your mouse and paste it into a word processing thing. And it just, and this website is connected to several things. It's connected to John Trump, Nikola Tesla. You name it, and it has a connection. It just goes all the way around in a big circle. Rebecca, what's your thoughts on the website on IngersollLockwood.com?
I think that it is completely fascinating and something that needs to be made aware of and understood because it's just a piece of the puzzle. Definitely.
Dirty Dan, what about you? It's updated almost, in real time. You'll go to it. Let's say if you went to it right now and you go back 5 minutes later, something may be different. Something may be added. Something may be taken away.
Well, this is the page where the back quarter was earlier is already a little different.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at and scratching my head on.
So they've already changed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder, why? Why do they keep changing it? And, we've called them before.
And what are we missing?
I don't know. I do wish someone from Ingersoll Lockwood Company would call us back or email us back.
We've left
get in touch with us.
We've left kind, polite, respectful voicemail.
Yes, we have.
We've both emailed very respectively and inquisitively, followed the channels, and at this point it's almost like leaving the red receipts on.
Yeah, and we did not ask them if the refrigerator was running, and they still did not respond. They call back.
They have answered questions on their own page that are much, much worse than we asked.
Yeah, and we can even try to call them right now if you want to.
Let's do it.
You have reached the voicemail of Cyber Defense Media Group. Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you for calling.
Think we should leave a message? Hello again. This is Goose from Here to Chew Bubblegum. I'm with Dirty Dan, and we're just reaching back out. We would like to learn more about your company. Please call us back at area code 606-373-3396 or email me, Goose, at heretochewbubblegum.com or Dirty Dan at heretochewbubblegum.com. We are fascinated with your founder, Ingersoll Lockwood, and we have questions as to why we can't find a lot about him on the internet, plus his resemblance to a public figure. But please just give us a call back. Thank you. Have a great evening. And you can call that number anytime, and you get the same recording.
And never a call back.
No, never. And I have no idea why we're having problems with our phone and board today. Normally, it just goes to it, but
Really, you don't know why we have problems when we're talking about
what?
this?
Yeah, kind of. I'm trying mystery there. When I first told you about the Ingersoll Lockwood website, what was your thoughts?
No way.
And then you started doing some stuff for yourself.
Way.
Well, and we learned about this last fall, and then the secret stuff started. One of the first things that they had on their first homepage was, that you highlighted and copied and pasted, said, do you want to play a game? TikTok.
Like the Saw movies.
Yeah. Time is wasting. Nothing, NCSWIC. Now, when I talked to you about the website, what was your first thoughts about it? I mean, did you think it was legit?
Of course it's legit in the fact that it's there.
Right,
And the website, like the desktop, is different from the
mobile. Yes.
Yeah, and there's just so much effort put into changing that, and so many accurate things coming out of it that you can't disprove it. But I think that it's important to look at everything from both sides, because if you can't argue both sides, then your opinion is uneducated.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
it's important
right.
to know.
Definitely. And it just still fascinates me, as we talked about on the podcast, that this company is legit. This is who's in charge and has a contract for cyber media defense with our government.
You know about the red period after the word pride, right?
On the that may be new. Which page was that on?
How we work.
Okay. No, that must be totally new.
So the bottom of the paragraph, it says, always made in America with pride. Red dot.
Okay.
Click it. The Great Awakening versus the Great Reset.
Okay. See, no, that's new.
Silent global war. And talks about the Matrix, NEO, about the Great Reset. But in very bold letters, it says, one must never live in fear, no matter the conditions or consequences.
So that's literally changed since we looked at it earlier.
Yeah,
that dot wasn't there.
Yeah, and it definitely changes. I mean, that's just mind blowing. I mean, first, the company that does, take care of this, like I said, they do cyber defense, and they're located not that far from the White House. And did that kind of mention the simulation theory there a little bit, that we're living in the simulation?
So it. Do you want me to read the paragraph?
Just read what you read there prior.
It says, remember from globalists' own predictive programming in the Matrix, NEO learns that those that remain plugged into the Matrix can, at any time, become an enemy.
Huh.
And it goes on to say some other things.
So, do you buy the simulation theory?
I'm kind of torn.
I don't know enough about it to really make a judgment call on it.
Yeah. And there's some smaller facts or ideas about it that come up, and I'm like, no, there's no way. Do the research, still have the same feeling. And then there's that one undeniable fact that just smacks you in the face, and you're like, well, okay, maybe.
I mean, me personally, and if I was in a simulation, I feel like I would know it. That's just me, in tune with my own, body and my environment. I would like to think that I would know if I was in a simulation. What about you? What's your thoughts on the simulation theory?
I don't know how I feel about like the exact simulation theory. I do agree that there is like the Matrix aspect as far as like the programming and the monotony of everyday life that they program you into. So I think that can be interpreted as a simulation,
right,
as a Matrix. But once you break out of that, once you start to remove that veil and see everything, it's really hard you can't unknow it.
Right.
You can't unsee it.
Right. Definitely.
And it's everywhere.
It's a little frustrating.
Well, yeah. Did you find something else as we were sitting here talking about it? I mean, when we did the podcast earlier, it's like it was changing minute by minute.
So on the D on the word extend is red, and so is life. It says life dash defend and extend.
Yeah.
And the D, they changed the look of the countdown timer.
Change the look of it. Let's see what it looks like
It doesn't
now.
look like last time I looked at it. It's much more.
No, that does not look.
And were those questions on top of it? What day was the U.S. Constitution signed? Who was born many years later the next day?
That's been on it for a few weeks now.
Okay.
See, but the countdown clock used to be on the main front homepage.
Correct, and it also had like a old timely pocket watch feel.
Yeah.
Whereas this is no longer that.
Now the what some people think that are on this website that read the question again that you just asked. What document was signed on this?
Oh, it says nope, it just took me to a CDC page.
Okay. Okay. So
Here we go.
That's suspicious.
and
Yeah. What day was the U.S. Constitution signed?
September 17th.
Who was born, in parentheses, many years later, the next day?
You know the answer to that.
Ingersoll.
No.
No.
John McAfee. So
Light bulb.
So maybe I wasn't
Yeah.
too far off in my prediction the other day
Like-
of what this timer's related to then.
yeah. And he was born many years later. Like September 18th, 1940 something. So
Is this the dead man switch? Because this timer came up shortly after his stint went down.
see, but the clock on that was up way before it was. Now, some of the stuff that's on the official John McAfee Telegram page, some of that stuff is straight from the IngersollLockwood.com website.
Now, let me ask you this. The timer itself was up. However, what's not to say that, because he had gone overseas
Right,
to try and live his life over there
Right.
away from this.
right.
What's not to say it started then?
I can't remember when we discovered it. I think it might have been like June, sometime in June maybe. So it has been a while. Did something just change on you as we're sitting here talking about it?
On the Q&A page,
Yeah.
not just awaken, but if you look partially down, it says, when they ask the question, are you the QAnon? It says, no, we're not the QAnon, but we do support the U.S. Constitution and are helping on various constitutional value or constitutional issues. That period is now red.
Really?
And it brings you to wiseenergy.org, 2020 U.S. presidential election related lawsuits.
Okay. See, now that is new. Now, when we first discovered this website, we've talked about it on a roundtable show, and that wasn't there earlier either. So
That's all the case info for everything.
that's all new info.
Every case.
So, but and the listeners out there, if you like checking out conspiracies or stuff that are strange and unusual, be sure to check out IngersollLockwood.com. When we talked about that maybe the second or third time on the show back in the fall, a few hours later the site was down. And then when it came back up and said your IP address is being monitored.
Yeah, I got that notification.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't really do that anymore. It seems like they want more people on it. They want more people to find it. They want more people to talk about it. If you're on the platform TikTok, people are posting about it, all the time. And this is just, it's just fascinating to me. I mean, it really, really is.
I mean, that's 5 changes now since earlier?
Yeah, since in the last 5 hours? So, is there anything else you want to say about that before we move on, or any?
I mean, we can talk about this all night. Let's look one more page.
Okay, we're looking at one more page. Again, that's IngersollLockwood.com. If you want to get to the hidden Q&A section, IngersollLockwood.com/QA. And remember, if you have anything that is white, highlight it, paste it in a note or WordPad, and you will get, not all the time, but most of the time when there's a big white space, you will get different messages and so forth. And like I said, they update this page, it seems like, in real time every few minutes. I would be interested to know how many hits they get per day now.
The dots after the library have changed again.
Okay.
To a red one.
Okay. Now, see, that was on there earlier in the week.
It wasn't on there earlier today.
It wouldn't?
No.
Okay, well, they've added it back. They may have added something to it. And
bonus round, multiply these low numbers by X, where X equals reality, 10 minus 100. COVID minus 10 VAERS, vaccine adverse reaction numbers, over 4K deaths in the U.S. reported.
okay, I mean, it's just wow. You know, I'm just blown away by the site. I like mysteries. I like trying to solve things. You know, people have told me I am the Jessica Lansbury of the new generation. I don't know if that's good or bad.
That tab just went away.
I'll take Matlock. So as you're scrolling about it, it's like somebody deleted that whole tab just then.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, that site's definitely monitored. Definitely monitored.
I'm watching you.
So that's we'll probably get a text here in a minute. Somebody will be like, hey, you know, you need to check outside. So
wouldn't be the first time.
Before we if you're done, we can move on there real fast. This is a story we talked about on the podcast show several months ago, and we may have mentioned it on some earlier radio episodes. This is an update, and this happened in October of 2019, but I do have an update, and I'm going to read the entire story and then give you the update. The Federal Aviation Administration says that a mysterious object that damaged a Kentucky man's mobile home earlier in October did not come from an airplane. And North Fork Southern Railroad says it's a nearby rail line that they have nothing to do with this type of canister. That was roughly 75 miles southeast of Louisville. What about the National Guard at Fort Campbell? Could the object have possibly fell from one of their units? Nope. All that news, or lack of it, leaves Tommy Woozy still wondering what the object of the origin is and how it damaged a wall in part of his bathroom. Seems to me, Tommy said, they should be able to trace a barcode on this thing to see where it came from. Woozy told the Courier-Journal in a message, a Boeing 737 MAX fallout blasting Boeing FAA safety panel recommends changes in certification process. UFO sightings, these videos have been called UFO sightings for years. The U.S. Navy says they're real. Okay, Woozy goes on to say that the object was discovered laying in the wall of his home on October 13, 2019, after returning from a weekend out of town. The object was a type of canister, about 2 inches round and 10 inches long and very heavy for the size, Woozy previously said. Authorities initially believed that the canister may have fallen from an airplane, but FAA spokesperson told the newspaper that an investigation has determined that the object is not part of an aviation plane. The FAA spokeswoman, Kathleen Bergen, said the agency reached out to North Fork Southern to ask them if it could have come from a rail line that's near the home. In a statement, a North Fork Southern spokesperson said the railroad object confirmed that the damage to Woozy's home was not caused by a part of any railroad engine or device. Bergen also said the FAA should be able to check with the National Guard in Fort Campbell, which is roughly 220 miles southeast of where he lives at, but they indicated the object is not theirs. We expect to return the object to the Mercer County Sheriff's Office for further investigation and will close our inquiry into this matter, Bergen said. A Mercer County Sheriff's deputy who handled the case could not be reached for comment. I actually reached out this past Friday to the Mercer County Sheriff's Office and was seeking information on an update. And we do have an update. The object that fell into the guy's home is from an automobile, and it has something to do with the airbag. And when I asked them how they came to that conclusion, they said that, they sent it off to the lab, and it is a part from a car. They do not have an explanation for how it flew into the guy's house.
As a career mechanic, the test results came back, and Maury said they're lying.
Oh, really? You don't think that came from an airbag?
That is not an airbag.
Really?
I have replaced many Takata airbags.
Well, they said it was a launcher to help launch the airbag.
Okay. I'll tell you right now, a launcher does not look like a mini version of a 200-pound bomb.
Okay.
There's no, it comes out the long ways,
Right.
out that way,
Right.
not through the side. There's no cap there. There are 2 little trigger wires on each side.
So you don't think that came from an automobile?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Well,
Not one of ours, at least.
okay. Well, that's the story that they gave, that it came from an automobile. And I showed you that picture because I knew you would be able to tell if it came from an automobile. So
That is not of the auto industry.
you do not buy that, right?
No.
But I do want to thank the nice lady at the Mercer County Sheriff's Office for talking to me and not laughing when I was asking her about an update on the object. Had you heard that story before?
I had not. No.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one thing about our state. Our state is beautiful. There's a lot of like UFO sightings that have been recorded. There's, Bigfoot. There's, goblins. I mean, you name it, we have it.
The blue people.
Yes. The blue fugates. Yes. No, those are from, my corner of the woods. So where I grew up at. And you know what caused that? That was like a iron deficient blood disease.
That happened from close.
Well, an iron deficiency blood
We'll just
disease.
leave it at iron deficiency.
So, had you heard about the blue people of Kentucky? Yeah, they were actually blue, like Smurf color blue. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I wasn't making it up.
No, he wasn't. But we're going to step away and take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts.
When you want fresh, authentic Mexican food, you want El Picante in Coal Run. Dine on sizzling hot fajitas, the freshest pico de gallo, or if you're craving their secret ingredient jalapeno dip, the only place you'll find it is El Picante. Look, there are Mexican restaurants on every corner. The difference is in the mouth-watering food and the great service you'll get at El Picante in Coal Run. Visit El Picante for lunch today.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick.
Wait a minute, you can't say that. I want to invite everyone to tune in each Monday night at 10 p.m. for our show, Here to Chew Bubblegum.
We talk about UFOs, time travel, conspiracy theories, and other dimensions.
Bigfoot, Loch Ness, and lots of other strange and unusual topics.
So come on and dive down the rabbit hole with us each Monday night at 10 p.m. for Here to Chew Bubblegum.
On 107.1 WKCB, The Killer Bee.
Don't get lost in the sauce.
Greetings. Hello, everyone. This is Goose, and I want to invite everyone to check out the Spooky Family Podcast. Here's a clip from an upcoming episode.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Spooky Family Podcast. Spooky Family, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Wow, you guys are really friendly tonight. That's awesome.
That's all I got.
I know. It's okay. It's been a rough week.
It's a beautiful hot Wednesday.
It is a beautiful hot Wednesday. Mm-hmm. But we usually you'll hear this on Thursday. So you've just blown our whole schedule, Gertie.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm fine with that.
How many episodes back is this?
No, we recorded this in January.
Or in the future.
Yeah, we are. Hey, how can people get a hold of us, Beagle?
I've got this little thing here.
Do you?
I do.
God.
I'd heard that, but I wasn't going to bring it up.
Well, I mean, I guess I have to now.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a pretty long number, though.
What is it?
It is 276-299-1681. And you also can get at us at spookyfamilypodcast.com, Gertie, or spookyfamilypodcast.com, Beagle, spookyfamily.podcast.
You can email us. It's on our website, spookyfamilypodcast.com. Go check it out.
I got a good idea. Let's make Beagle read all the things that involve,
Yeah, that's what I do. Hey, guys, we have some special guests with us today, and let me tell you something. These two, they blow my mind because we struggle. I'm just going to go ahead and lay it out here. We struggle trying to record a podcast on a weekly basis, but these guys do it every single day. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, from Seth's Daily Podcast, I have with us Seth and Tracy. Guys, how you doing?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for this opportunity.
Yes, sir. Doing fine, and we do it every day because I don't have anything else to do. I guess.
Well, listen, that's the dream, right? That's the dream. So, go ahead.
Yeah, I just said it's all good. Since I retired, it's just kind of worked out.
I understand completely. Listen, I'm looking forward to the day when I can hang up the boots. You know what I'm saying?
It's nice.
I completely understand. So, guys, tell us a little bit about your podcast. What do you do? Where are you based out? What got you started? Give us any information you want to give us.
Well, I'm from Knott County, and Tracy is from Ohio, and I started the podcast out in October of 2020, and it started out as a it's a funny story. There was a local politician that was running, and he was like, these TV stations won't let me on TV and stuff, and I was like, that's weird. He said, do you have a laptop? And I said, yeah. And we just did an interview, and I started a Patreon, and yeah, man, it just started from there. And then in January, I interviewed Joe Tedeye, and then we just recently interviewed Mike Goldberg, and Tracy's been the co-host for a month now. If you want to talk about that, Tracy.
Yeah, man. I started podcasting about 2013 on the Paramania Radio Network with those guys over there. Me and Joe Atkins had a show called Awakening Radio on the Paramania Radio Network, and we did that till 2015. So I've been doing this off and on since 2013. And yeah, Seth, I was on another podcast, and Seth and I got together and kind of started clicking a little bit, and it was like, hey, man, we'll just, jump on this wagon together and see where it takes us. So here we go. And it's so far just in the month, it's been a ride. But we've interviewed people that, I'd have never dreamed, and we got some big ones possibly in the works. Some really big names.
Yeah, man.
Oh, we do have a big name on. My bad, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Listen, go ahead.
We do have a big country rapper on August the 12th. His name is Shotgun Shane. He is a country rapper, and he's really famous, and he's a really nice guy. And me and Tracy are definitely looking forward to that interview.
Yes, sir.
Shotgun Shane, that's awesome. So here's the thing.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose, Dirty Dan, and Pup on WXLR 104.9.
And welcome back to Here to Chew Bubblegum with your favorite hosts, Goose and Dirty Dan. Goose, you got something for us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was very excellent. Very excellent the way you brought us back. And we also have a very special guest in the bunker, Rebecca Short from TikTok. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for being here, hanging out during this episode. We'd love to have you here.
Thanks, Goose.
So do the listeners. As requested.
You almost did good on that, bringing us back in. So
FNG.
Okay. Before I go on, is there anything that you have for us that you want to talk about?
No, I got told I spend too much time on this website.
I did not tell you that.
I didn't say you did.
Real quick, not real quick. Let's take just a moment. I want to talk about Tony Winnebago and the CIA. Have you heard of this before?
I've heard it in passing, but I have not done any research on it.
What about you, Rebecca?
I have not.
There's a lot of people that think Jeff Goldblum is a CIA operative called Tony Winnebago. Formerly CIA officer David Petraeus, CIA Operation Fly since 1975. They're scrubbing information about this in real time, but by the time you read this, it will probably have taken offline. Recent CIA documents have revealed that actor Jeff Goldblum is actually a CIA operative called Tony Winnebago and has been part of Operation Fly. He has been a fly on the wall in Hollywood since 1975. They are frantically trying to hide Tony Winnebago's true identity. Now, I have in front of me a document dated from October 1st, 1965. And in the memo heading, it says, Mr. Tony Winnebago. And the subject is Project Fly, Jeffrey Lynn Goldblum, 1974. I was told yesterday that the above meeting, which I believe you chaired, you made a remark as follows. Kronberg outfit has mom people making a movie out on the West Coast. I understand that this remark was made in course of general discussion, but I'm afraid that if the above is substantial, what you said will have created an inaccurate impression. I know that this was unintentional on your part, but the implications are sufficiently important so that I feel I should correct the record and would very much appreciate it if you could either send a copy of this memo to each of the other individuals that attended the meeting or a group that was in the meeting to correct the impression orally. The facts are that one of four people that has the West Coast was on the West Coast about 2 weeks ago and learned that mom was undertaking a movie about returning prisoners of war. We understand to get in touch with mom to find out the facts. At the same time, show how certain mom representatives an unclassified version of the film without the American fillers. It was understood, however, that no use would be made of any portion of this film without getting a clearance for the desired use, and furthermore, not having mom make the film. We have merely made available for possible use some material which might be included in advance in mom's own film. You know, I guess mom is a code word. This report finishes up by saying, our representative is getting back today, and as soon as we have the facts, we will make it available to anyone who is interested. I hope that you do not think I am being overly malice, but in my opinion, this is a very significant difference between the impression which might have been created at the meeting and what we have in fact done. And this was declassified and released in 2021, this year.
In May, by chance?
Yes. So you found some research on it.
Let me guess, is it on the Ingersoll Lockwood website?
No, not at all. It is on www.godlikeproductions.com.
Okay. I don't buy it. I think it was a different Jeffrey Goldblum, because in 1965, when I wrote this memo, Jeffrey Goldblum was like 12 years old.
Yeah. And the picture of him on here in 75 is, let's just say they found the age quickening serum, I guess.
Okay. You know, but there's a lot of people that have been talking about that online, and they actually believe that Jeffrey Goldblum, the actor from the 80s movie, the remake of The Fly, was actually a CIA operative, which I really just don't get that. I find it hard to believe. You know, I mean, and people can have their own thoughts, but, you know, going back to what we talked about earlier about Bob Joyce and Elvis, I don't think they're the same person because the age difference. I mean, you know, if Bob Joyce was closer to his 80s, yes, he would be. You know, you would hear me say, Bob Joyce is Elvis Presley.
Age is just a number, but wrinkles are real.
There you go. So, what's your thoughts on the Jeffrey Goldblum?
That is a good distraction.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, because it's fascinating to dive down and kind of do a little digging, but
yeah, that's a rabbit hole that unfortunately you just kind of seem to find dirt and no food.
Yeah, definitely. Have you heard about the Pawnee Woods incident?
No.
You want to tell us about it, or do you want me to? I can let you tell us about it if
I'll
you want
tell
to.
it.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
An extremely haunting UFO sighting, which has well stood the test of time, was an event which took place in the piney woods of Texas, near the town of Huffman. On the chilly night of December 29th, 1980, 2 women and 1 child encountered a craft of unknown origin, and all 3 suffered not only emotional trauma, but severe physical injury as well. This sounds a lot like Fatima. A 51-year-old Betty Cash was driving through the woods, traveling from New Caney to Dayton on Farm to Market Road, 1485. Riding with her was her friend Vicki Landrum, 57 years old, and Vicki's 7-year-old grandson Colby. They were looking for an open bingo game, but found all of them closed down for the holiday season. They stopped for a meal at a restaurant and then continued their journey. Soon, the 3 began to see a light in the distance, and in a few short minutes, this light became a glowing object, slowly crossing the tops of all the tall pine trees. As they proceeded along their way, their initial thought was that the object was an airplane or a helicopter from one of the airfields not too distant from their location. Suddenly, ahead of them, loomed an immense diamond-shaped craft, which was hovering over the road ahead of them. At regular, fast intervals, the object would shoot down a stream of reddish-orange flames. Vicki would later describe it as being like a diamond of fire. Being a devout Christian, she had never believed in UFOs or extraterrestrials, and at this moment, she believed that she was witnessing the end of the world. They could also hear a constant beeping sound as the strange craft spit out its fiery downspout. Frightened, Betty came to a quick stop to keep from running under the craft. The car's heater had been running to kill the frosty air of the night, but now the inside of her vehicle was so hot, she had to turn off her heater and leave the car, along with Vicki and Colby. Now, outside of the vehicle, they could hear a steady roaring sound coming from the frightening side ahead of them. Young Colby became so afraid that his grandmother took him back into the car to comfort him. Betty stayed outside. As she stood watching the craft, suddenly the sky was full of helicopters. Betty said they seemed to rush in all from directions. It seemed like they were going to encircle the thing. She assumed that they were from Tomball Airfield, northwest of Houston, or Ellington Air Force Base, south of Houston. The eerie object now began to lift into the air and proceed southwest, with helicopters in pursuit. As Betty returned to the car, the door handle was so hot she could hardly open the front door. Her hand was burned getting inside. She immediately turned on her air conditioner to cool off the inside of the vehicle. After the object had left the area, they restarted their vehicle, hoping to get home and never see the craft again. But after several miles of dark highway, they left the farm to Market Road in favor of the freeway. Ahead in the distance, they could see the object with its bright lights illuminating the helicopters, which were still trying to encircle it. At this vantage point, the 2 ladies could actually count the number of copters in the air, 23. After a fast trip home, all 3 of the witnesses became extremely sick within the next few hours. Betty's head and neck were blistered, and soon her eyes were swollen shut. She was also terribly nauseated. By the next morning, she was almost in a coma. Vicki and Colby suffered very similar symptoms, yet not as severe as Betty's. After a couple of miserable days being cared for at Vicki's home, Betty checked into a hospital where she was treated as a burn victim, remaining for 15 days. Her hair had begun to fall out, and her eyes swelled so badly she could not see for about a week. Colby had problems with his eyes, and Vicki was losing her hair as well. In addition, her scalp was numb and painful. All 3 of the victims were treated for radiation poisoning, and their condition was listed by doctors as life-threatening. Before long, skin sores developed, weight loss began, and skin cancer was diagnosed. As to the origin of the helicopters, local air bases were questioned, but would not admit to sending any helicopters out that night. The only public statement made by military officials came from Fort Hood press officer Major Tony Geishauer. In an interview with the Corpus Christi Caller newspaper, he stated that no Fort Hood aircraft were in the Houston area that night. The Blacktop Road was badly damaged by the emissions from the craft that night, but it was very quickly repaired. Investigators were at a loss to explain the events of that night, except to say that Betty, Vicki, and Colby all had encountered a craft of undetermined origin, or possibly an experimental government craft. The 3 unwilling participants in this event sued the U.S. government for medical damages, but during a congressional hearing, the Department of the Army Inspector General denied any military involvement in the case and disallowed any compensation for the 3 unwilling participants in the Piney Woods affair. That really does sound like radiation poisoning.
Yeah, it does. And you know what fascinated me about that is that they actually sued the U.S. government.
It's just a fight you're not going to win.
No, you definitely not. And there's, there was a case we read before. It was a police officer in, I can't remember what state it was in, It might have been New Mexico.
And you got 50 to choose from.
But I'm pretty sure it was New Mexico or Texas, somewhere down that way. And his cruiser was actually damaged. The story was in the 70s. And he had, like, burns to his eyes, or right under his eyes was radiation, poisoning, and so forth. And he was hospitalized for a little bit. And the makers of his car, I can't remember, what brand it was, there was no way to understand how the hood and the window were damaged. They could not explain that.
That just kind of goes along with the fact of with UFOs and other life forms that they've long harnessed nuclear power as a source of energy, and that could be why they keep coming back for uranium.
Well, in some of the cases I've studied, when you've got more than one person like that, and they don't have any reason to make this up, as you was reading that, I could see it all in my mind because you were like painting a picture with their words that they wrote.
I was painting my own picture.
And cases where are in depth like that, and you can see it happening in your mind. I think those are real and 100% legit.
I mean, up until when they were talking about the fiery stream and the sounds, I'm like thinking 1980. It's a Harrier.
Yeah, well,
a Harrier.
I actually think that was in the 70s or what was it, 60s?
December 29th, 1980.
1980. Okay.
And that's when the Harriers were on the U.S. Navy ships. So I'm like, Gulf of Mexico, Texas. Okay, makes sense. And then the helicopters rushed in.
All right. If that was a government project, why would they corner a car like that?
Well, and that's what I'm saying is anybody could have said, the plane swooped down. The Harriers had the ability to vertically take off and land as well as like a traditional aircraft.
Right.
So that would make sense of it hovering there and shooting the flames down. And then it got into the pursuit with the helicopters and did some stuff to her car and them that jet fuel does not do.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I just found that story fascinating. I figured that you would too. Well, we've got just a few minutes left. I'm going to talk about some recent UFO sightings, and you can too.
Yeah, I got it.
You still have those in front of you. And Rebecca, you just chime in whenever you want to. Some recent UFO sightings in June 11th of 2021, just a little over a month ago. A V-shaped formation of lights were videoed over Chicago, Illinois. My husband and I were at a lakefront in Chicago on Wednesday night. The Air and Water Show was about to happen that weekend, so were jets and the like practicing during the daytime. We were crossing the street to go to Buckingham Fountains when we saw this object in the sky over the water. It was very hard to distinguish what it was, and we had no visible sound coming from it. No one else in the area seemed to think anything of it or even notice it. I sent the video to southern stations, but never heard anything back, so we were just led to believe that it was something for the Air and Water Show. It's possible. It could have been something for the Air and Water Show. I would like to see the video. And again, that was reported on June 11th of this year in Chicago.
Well, and especially in the Midwest, if you're going to send a video in just from yourself with no backing or knowledge, you're not going to see it.
No,
they don't. They don't know what to do with themselves. It takes them 3 months to do it, and then they'll air it as their own clip.
Yeah, definitely.
News team saw while traveling to station.
More at 5. Breaking news.
Yes.
So, do you have one you want to tell us about?
Yeah. On July 10th, unidentified object videotaped over Nevada. This video was taken with my phone camera attached to our telescope. The location was west of Mesquite, Nevada. The object appeared to be rotating and changing colors. It was visible to the naked eye, but much better with the telescope. After watching it for quite a while, it just disappeared. It is difficult to determine what exactly that object was. That sounds like a classic UFO sighting. Absolutely. Because it's got, if they're saying they can see it by eye, they can obviously see that the whole craft itself is rotating. It's not just the lights.
Right.
It's not just, little kit car light going back and forth. And then it just disappears.
Yeah.
Just gone. Fast as it came.
Yeah, that's, that goes back to one of the emails earlier about the Aldebaran mystery. I mean, if you've not saw that documentary, it's a great documentary. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
You
now.
want the unedited one, right?
The unedited and uncut version. So, let's see. June 22nd, 2021, transparent UFO captured over Los Angeles. This UFO was filmed in Los Angeles on a balcony near the 10th freeway, about 1 mile east of the 405. The UAP, see, there you go. There's your word, UAP. In the video was filmed at 8:12 p.m. Not sure what the distance was, but it was so far that I couldn't see it with the naked eye. I found it by panning my Nikon P1000 camera across the sky to see if anything would come into view. I was also meditating on letting my hand be guided to find something that I felt was up there. It mostly moved north while occasionally shifting east. I was trying to stay on it in the sky until I accidentally zoomed out and lost it while trying to grab photos of the unidentified flying object.
It's interesting they called it both things there.
Yes, they did. So you get some of the old, some of the new.
But what made it a flying object from a phenomenon?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Was it their erratic directional changes?
Maybe.
I'm just curious.
It could have been.
I'm morbidly curious about this now.
We'll have to do a little more digging and find that out.
We should. We should also get a Nikon P1000 and just start taking panoramic shots of the night sky. Because if they're that specific with it, it's got to be for a reason, right?
And we've mentioned this before, people that...
Maybe it was dirt on the lens.
People say they want proof, and you give them proof with a good quality camera, and they say, this is fake, this is Photoshop, this is CGI. And they always tend to say that. I don't understand, but it is really hard at night to take pictures with a cell phone of a strange object, because I've tried it before back this past February, and mine looked awful.
Well, I have that new 5G technology that is wonderful and just happens to have a auto exposure. So if it's dead at night, it'll hold it there and just keep soaking
Keep doing it.
Yeah, and it'll lighten it up real good.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
maybe we'll take a new Apple device versus a Nikon P1000. We'll try it in a few.
There we go. We'll have to do that.
Don't worry, guys. Not too crazy people. We're just podcast hosts looking for UFOs.
That's exactly right. You want to tell us about one more, and we'll wrap things up?
Yeah, we'll do this interesting one from Florida. July 6th of this year, he wrote in that on the 4th of July, Davie, Florida, at 10:15 p.m., observed a very strange object hovering silently in the sky. It was white at first, with at least two separate sections of 6 large tubes connected together, appearing vertically, roughly 5 to 10 feet apart from one another. Appeared to be a single object, each connected tube, 6 at least 12 total, stepped down in size like a Native American flute. Begs the question.
Yes.
What is a Native American flute?
I don't know. Do you have any idea?
I don't want to Google it.
Why?
Images.
Oh, okay. Got you. That definitely makes a lot of sense. Oh, well, I want to thank everyone for sending their emails, for listening. I want to thank Rebecca Short from TikTok. If you want to awaken more, be sure to check out Rebecca Short on TikTok. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396, or what else can they do?
You can also email us at goose@heretotchewbubblegum.com, or me, Dirty Dan, at heretotchewbubblegum.com, or Ned, Pup, and Elliot at heretotchewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work. CK Young will be on the rest of the gang at deadpit.com. Justin Perkins of Talk Junkie. Be sure to check out Down on the Holler with Jordan and Brad. Don't forget about Seth's Daily Podcast. And if you like spooky stuff, be sure to check out the Spooky Family Podcast. For more information, visit spookyfamilypodcast.com. And once again, thank you very much, Rebecca, for being here. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm going home.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.